Hello students, welcome to Sri Chaitanya, and today we are going to discuss the JEE 2024 January session maths analysis in full detail. Okay, so let's start the analysis, students. Okay, so this was the topics which was asked in your JEE Main exam, January exam. These are the topics and these are the shift-wise number of questions the JEE Main have asked, and this is the total number of questions. So as you can see, in fundamental of mathematics, no question was asked. In quadratic equation, 6 questions were asked. Log 1 question. Similarly, you can see the high weightage chapters which are really important, like 19 questions from sequence and series they have asked. Complex numbers, 13 questions. That means more than one question was asked in each shift, because total 10 shifts were there. So 19 questions means each shift approximately 2 questions were asked in January JEE Main. Okay, binomial theorem, you can see that total 12 problems they have asked. PNC 9 problems. Determinant matrices and probability, each 10 problems. Vector 3D, you can see that it's a huge high weightage chapters. 20 questions, that means 2 questions from vectors and 2 questions from 3D. Despite the reduction in syllabus in vectors 3D, still they have managed to ask you 4 questions out of 30 problems in a JEE Main shift. So that's a very good weightage. Okay, let's move forward. Let's come to the coordinate geometry and calculus. So straight line, they've asked 14 questions, very high weightage. Circle, parabola, ellipse, hyperbola of 9, 3, 8. You can see parabola have very less weightage. They have not asked many questions from this part. Okay, hyperbola 5 problems. So ellipse, hyperbola combined 13 problems. That means 1 or 2 problems have been asked per shift. You can see that. Functions 11. LCD, it's huge, 18 problems. 2 questions per session. MOD, it's very less obviously. Application of derivative, again 12 problems, like 1 question per session. Indefinite, so it's automatically, it's a very low weightage chapter. Definite integration, you can see that 2 to 3 problems have been asked. 23 means each shift more than 2 problems. 2 problems, but 3. Some shift also have 3 problems from definite. So it's very high weightage. Area under the curve 12 and differential equation also have 18. That means approximately 2 questions have been asked from in each shift. Okay, so this is the weightage of coordinate and calculus. And if we talk about trigonometry, so trigonometric ratio and identity is 3 problems only. Trigonometric equation was deleted from the syllabus, but still they asked 4 problems from it. So 7 problems, and inverse 4 problems, 11 problems. That means in trigonometry 1 question was there either from trigonometry 1 or trigonometric equations or ITF. So only 1 problem was there. Sets, they have only 2 problems. So very, the weightage have been decreased. In the previous years, the sets was definitely, 1 question they have been asking in the last year. Okay, so relations statistics is 8 and 10. So statistics 1 question per shift, and same for relations also, approximately 1 question per shift. And reasoning, induction, linear programming, solution of triangle was completely out of the syllabus. They have not asked a single question in any shift. Okay, let's come to the more details. Like from algebra, they have asked 90 questions. This is shift wise details. And coordinate geometry, 39 problems overall. Vector 3D, 39 problems. Like coordinate geometry, 5 chapters are there in coordinate geometry, and they have asked 39 problems, and vector 3D is only 2 chapters, in fact a single chapter, and 39 problems alone from this. That means vector 3D is really the high weightage topic, and you need to keep this in mind for April attempt. Okay, calculus 98 problems. So algebra, calculus are more or less same, and trigonometry obviously 12 problems, very low weightage chapters. Okay. Now from 11th class and 12th class, if we see the bifurcation, 110 questions were asked from 11th class, and 12th class 186, and combined was like mixed type of problems was 4. So it's a huge gap. Out of total questions in mathematics, 300 problems, 186 was asked from 12th class. That means it's approximately 60%. So 60% was asked from 12th class, and the remaining 40% was asked from the 11th class. So 60-40 general ratio. General ratio is 55-45, but yes, 12th class was, was given high weightage. Okay. You can see the pie chart, 62%, approx 62, 37% and 1%. So this is the pie chart. Okay, now let's see the level of the paper: easy, moderate, and tough in all the shifts. How many questions are easy? How many questions are moderate? How many questions are tough? So as we can see, the total out of 300 problems, like 166 problems were easy. Okay, so that's a good sign that the easy paper is coming. Okay, and 105 is moderate, and 29 are extremely tough. So relatively, if we compare this paper with the 2023 or 2022 JEE Main mathematics papers, this was definitely comparatively on a lower side. Okay, so this was the level. You can see that. So 36% moderate, 55%, 50% paper was approximately on the easier level, moderate 36 and difficult is 9%. And you can see that this data also you can see better. Calculation based problem was 36, direct answer was easy, 50%, like result based or trick based problem, and multi-topic was 9%. So this is one data you need to consider if you're preparing for April attempt. Okay, so that means the maximum problems, the majority of the problems was formula based, or you can say a direct formula, King's rule, or normal vector 3D line or system of equations. So they're all very, very repeated problems, and they have been asking since so many years. Okay, so multi-topic problems they have asked this time. Generally they don't ask, but this time they have asked. They have combined the topics like straight line and quadratic, or quadratic and P and similar. They've combined certain topics. Calculation based was around 35 to 40%. Okay, so this is the analysis, detailed analysis of JEE Main mathematics section, January attempt. Okay, so yes, so let's discuss the other two subjects, physics and chemistry. Thank you so much.
Now we are going to start the discussion of chemistry paper analysis of January attempt 2024 JEE Mains, all 10 shift. So first we will go for organic chemistry papers. So in this time, organic section dominated the whole paper. Okay, so you can see almost 119 question was asked from 119 question was asked from organic section, and the most of the question asked from the chapter aromatic compounds. So this topic, a single aromatic from aromatic compound, 17 question was asked. Okay, then second, halogen derivative was the most important area for January attempt. Okay, then if we will go for 17, then 16, then 15, electronic displacement, and by this time also nomenclature dominated the paper. So these are the major area from biomolecules and a specific purification area. You know the general principle of purification. Okay, from that area they have asked a lot of questions this time. Okay, so please go through these topics carefully, because I wish you can score 100% marks in your April attempt. Okay, so these are the major area from you can this time the most of the question was asked in the organic chemistry, carbonyl compound, you can see. Okay, so out of this, if you will go through if you will try to judge which section will dominated from 11th organic or from class 12th organic. So in total 12th class organic portion was very high. Okay, so total 68 question was asked from the question was belongs to the class 12 organic, and 51 question belongs to the class 11th organic. Okay, so in some cases this this is 27 shift 1 class 11th portion dominated, but in general class 12th organic portion was dominated the paper. Okay, so this is the distribution. 43% organic question belongs to the class 11th part, and 57% question belongs to the class 12th organic part. Okay, if you will segregate questions from easy, medium and tough, so major question falls in the category of easy section. That's why score is very high. Okay, so and the second highest category was a medium category. So most of the question belongs to easy to moderate, and few questions was fall under the category of tough section, because those questions are very peculiar about their color. Those questions has a nature. If you exactly know that thing, then you can answer those questions. That's why few questions was falls under the category of tough. Okay, so this is the distribution of organic portion, and this is also a very interesting case. most of the question was directly answered, can be directly answered. Okay, so even direct answer type questions, if you are good with your concept, you can directly answer those questions. Okay, and that percentage is very high. Okay, and this is of course in every cases some calculation based question like a number of isomers. Okay, so this type of questions also appear in your January attempt, and that portion is very low. Okay, and this is interesting actually, means in one question different concepts are used from different topics. Okay, so interrelated topics also, this type of question was asked in your exam, and those students who are very good with those their concepts, they will enjoy this section. Okay, so and the second highest percentage falls under the category of multi-topic questions. Now come to physical chemistry analysis. This time physical chemistry number of questions asked from the physical chemistry is quite low in comparison to inorganic and organic. So total out of 10 shift, only 81 question was asked. Okay, and surprisingly this time mole concept dominated the whole. So this chapter out of 14 question was asked from direct from mole concept. Okay, and second important chapter was electrochemistry, 12th question, and then you can see so thermodynamics as usual, and then we can go for kinetics. So as this chapter also, students always devote their time in these chapters to grab the concepts. Okay, atomic structure, this is quite easy topic, so maximum student score full marks in atomic structure also in advance. Okay, so this is the total redox dominated, also a lot of question asked from the redox. Okay, so this is the total area from you can find questions in your physical chemistry. So this time chemical equilibrium, very less question directly asked. Okay, so you can see redox, and so this is the distribution of physical chemistry. Okay, if we will go through which part dominated the more, 11th or 12th. So in overall 11th class portion of physical chemistry dominated the physical chemistry section. Okay, so out of 81, 52 question from class 11th portion physical chemistry, and 29 question was from class 12th or physical chemistry. Okay, so mostly class 11th portion dominated the physical chemistry part. Okay, now if we will segregate question in easy, medium, tough, again, so most of the question belongs to easy to moderate level. Easy portion is high, then moderate, and few questions belongs to the tough level section. Okay, and direct answer type question, also in physical chemistry you will find a lot of theoretical questions like that. Okay, so even if you are good with concept, you can directly in very less time you can answer those questions. Okay, and you know, of course this is a physical chemistry, so as usual calculation based question is the maximum, and interrelated topics, multi-topic questions was also good number. Okay, 6 question asked from when concept was mixed to ask same one question. Okay, so this is from physical chemistry. Now come to inorganic chemistry. This time I have observed out of 10 paper, the percentage of physical inorganic and organic was quite disproportionate. Sometimes this portion is high, in some paper that portion is very high. Okay, but inorganic, organic in comparison to physical, this time percentage is very high. Okay, so now inorganic chemistry, this was very interesting. As usual, chemical bonding dominated the inorganic section, and second one was coordination compound. And okay, and one very surprising case, this time every paper have paper question from salt analysis. So that's why this become very mandatory for you to if you want to score good in a prior attempt, it means you should go through the salt analysis. Okay, and this time also the D and F block dominated. A lot of questions asked from the D and F block, and even surprisingly the chemical reaction of KMnO4 with iodine, a lot of question falls from the same concept actually. Okay, so P block also we have seen a lot of question asked from the P block, and there is a lot of confusion, deleted syllabus and all. Of course, for good students that doesn't matters. Okay, because you are preparing for advance, but from NCERT that topic was deleted, but they have instructed that the general physical and chemical property you should understand those topics, and why each member of the why a first member of each group is different from their congeners. So, and they have asked a lot of good question from that segment. Even in P block, if you have to analyze the the table given over there, okay, doesn't mean you should mug up those value, but you should enjoy that time. You should enjoy the trend, which is high, which is low, and which is abnormality in their trend. So you should remember the abnormal trends in table, and they have asked a lot of question from P block. Okay, so generally this time class 12 section, from class 12 section in organic chemistry, they have asked maximum question. Okay, so 61, and class 11th only 39. So in percentage, this is 39%. Okay, and this is 61%. Okay, so this is the distribution. So come to next point. So now direct answer type question is 73. So of course, if you are good with inorganic, so maximum question in very less time you can secure maximum plus marks. Okay, so direct answer type questions is number is very high. Okay, calculation based question is quite low, very low. Okay, but multi-topic questions means a lot of different concepts club in one question, and that number is also very good actually this time. Okay, so inorganic and organic dominated the whole paper. Okay, so if you will categorize them, so maximum questions falls under the category of easy, then from medium, and then only few questions falls under the category of tough. And you know why some questions are in tough category? Because that is a very critical thinking. If you know that exact value, you can answer. If not, okay, so that's why we have kept some question in tough category also. Okay, and if you will see integer wise, okay, so this is integer wise integer question segregation. So in integer based question, you will find a unique, as usual in advance also, physical chemistry dominated the paper. So this is the distribution of, so organic chemistry is 26, physical chemistry is 51, and inorganic chemistry is 23. So physical chemistry portion is very high in integer based question. Okay, and that is quite interesting. And as usual in advance also, physical chemistry portion is little bit higher than other. Okay, so this is the percentage over here. So physical chemistry portion is very high only in integer based. Okay, only is integer based. So, and this time assertion region type questions, true false in terms of statement 1 and 2 types, matching list type, this type of questions also a large number question asked from this type of category. Okay, so statement 1 and true for question 25 question was asked in all 10 papers. Okay, assertion region type 11, and match column type of question is also number is very high, 13. Okay, so now if you will see the overall distribution, this time inorganic and organic portion was very high. Physical chemistry portion is quite low, even in overall 10 paper, 10 shift. Okay, so organic portion is quite high, around 40%. Inorganic percentage is 33. Okay, and some percentage, a little bit lesser percentage in physical chemistry. So I hope this will help you a lot to prepare for your April attempt. All the best.
Hello students, so let's bring in front of us the very beautiful discussion about the physics papers which were there held in all the shifts of JEE Main 2024 in session 1. So we'll be having a very elaborate kind of discussion about what were the types of questions, from which topics the questions have been asked, what are the key takeaways from the question paper, then what is the level of the questions based asked, and also along with that, what are the type of questions which have been asked. So let's first draw out the segmentation based on the topic wise, basically what all topics from where the questions have been asked. So if we can see over here, here is an analysis of all the days and shift 1 and shift 2. So if you can see over here from the topic of units, you have more or the less a question in all the shifts. Apart from 29th shift 1 and shift 2, there was no question asked, and in total 7 questions were asked from unit, and this actually shows the importance of this particular topic. Then vectors, yes, there were some shifts. Then talking about 1D and 2D motion, just look at the score over here. 7 questions in total have been asked from one-dimensional motion, and two-dimensional around 4 were there, mostly of projectile motion. Then talking about relative motion, so relative motion we don't see any apart from the first paper wherein in shift 2 a single question was asked over here. Then talking about NLM, so NLM questions have been asked, around 6 questions were asked from NLM. Then friction, so NLM friction you can consider them to be same, so the weightage around is over here 10. Then talking about work power energy, you have another 10 questions asked, and in every shift you can see the number of questions which are asked. Then circular, so circular you can see around 8 questions have been asked from the topic of circular motion. If I talk about center of mass, so not a very consistent flow of questions were there, but around 8 questions have been asked. No, I'm so sorry. Around 6 questions have been asked from center of mass. Then talking about rigid body. So there was this topic that in every shift, almost rigid body questions were asked, apart from one that was in 1st of February, shift 1 exam. Then talking about SHM, so there were some questions, around 6 were asked. Waves, strangely, there wasn't any question which was asked. There were definitely questions from wave optics, not of waves. Then sound, as you can see from sound, you had around 5 questions asked from sound. Then fluid, surface tension and viscosity combined, if I see, then there are around 10 questions which are asked from fluid mechanics, that is the mechanical properties of liquids. Talking about the other case, then elasticity. So elasticity, there were a lot number of questions asked this time. Around 11 questions have been asked from mechanical properties of solids only. Then talking about KTG and thermodynamics, as usual, this is a very important chapter, and as you can see, it has been performing as a standard 2 questions in every shift, and around 20 questions have been asked from thermodynamics. This actually shows the importance of thermodynamics, the KTG and thermo aspect over here. Then talking about calorimetry, thermal expansion, conduction, radiation, all these in heat, all these in thermal properties of matter, only one question you can track down over here. Then talking about error measurement. So error measurement I'll count in units and dimension only. Around 10 questions were asked over here. Then gravitation. So units and measurement. This is basically a parts of units and dimension only. Okay. So I suppose this is clear. Now gravitation, as obvious, it's an important topic. 10 questions have been asked. Talking about electrostats. So electrostats you can see around, in electrostats you can see around 17 questions. So electrostats, another, this is a very important topic, and along with it current has always been an important chapter. Important concepts are there from current. So current, as you can see, around 24 questions have been asked. Now capacitance you can consider in electrostatics only, and capacitance and electrostats, they cumulatively count for around 25 questions. So yes, this both is electrostats only, and they both actually are a bit bulky. Then magnetism, if I speak of, around 14 questions have been asked. So this is also an important topic. EMI, AC and EM waves. EMI, AC and EM waves you can see 13, 11 and 7. So yes, this entire data from starting from magnetism till EM waves, this is important. You can see 15, 13, 11 and 7 questions have been asked. So it is important. Then geometrical optics, as usual, it's an important topic. 11 questions have been asked, and as I told you, from wave optics also you have around 13 questions. So yes, these are important, and this is also important. So this shows that the part 1 of your class 12th notebooks, the part 1 consists of all these chapters, starting from electrostats till EM waves. You can just add all of them, 17, 24, 8, 15, 13, 11 and 7. How important these chapters are from the prospect of your JEE Main. Moving ahead, if I talk about further diffraction, which is a part of wave optics only, you have seen 5 questions have been asked. Then polarization, around 3 questions have been asked. So this is wave optics only. So cumulatively 5, 3 and 3 over here. This accounts for 11 questions have been asked from the topic of wave optics. Then atomic nature, that is the atoms, matter waves, photoelectric effect, another case in atoms only. X-rays, there wasn't any question, right? And nuclear physics. So till semiconductor, entirely over here, modern physics. Just look at the importance. 11, 5, 16, then 22, 22, 31, and 31 plus 11 is 42 questions have been asked from modern physics. So what you can conclude over here is that the modern physics section, so I was actually discussing all these questions to the students, and what I was seeing is in every shift you can see a question from atom. Every shift there was a question from atom. In some shift there were 2 questions also. So atoms obviously was an important element. Now we consider photoelectric effect and matter waves. So from dual nature also there were questions, definitely, but from atoms in every shift there was a question, and semiconductors also around 11 questions. In every shift you can see there were questions from semiconductor, be it from logic gates, be it from standard Zener diode cases, and simple ones, not that tough ones. We'll be just looking into the segmentation also based on their level, what type of questions were asked and what was their level. So I hope these topic wise analysis and out of syllabus questions were nil. So there weren't any out of syllabus questions, so you can completely rely upon whatever syllabus has been updated, and the questions have been asked based on the recent syllabus only. Moving ahead for the next thing, so from mechanics if I speak, then from first shift 27, 6, 7, 6, 7. So mechanics overall 59 questions have been asked. Then oscillation and waves if I speak of, then oscillation and waves around you can see 11 questions have been asked in total. These are further concepts, right, further topics, or you can say units over here. So from the mechanics unit you have around 59 questions in total asked from all the shifts. You can see 6, 7, 6, 7. Then oscillation and waves you can see 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Then properties of matter, that means heat, fluid, heat is the thermal property, mechanical properties of solids and liquids. From it on an average 4, 5 questions you can expect. And in total 42 questions have been asked. Talking about gravitation, so gravitation you can see around 10 questions have been asked. Then electromagnetism, as I have told you, very important, 95 questions have been asked, starting from electrostats running till AC and EM waves. Okay, so electromagnetism is actually a very important unit over here. Then talking about optics, diffraction, polarization, geometrical optics and wave optics, that means the entire optics section, you can count that to be 22. Based on the coverage of the syllabus, the questions asked were less, but yes, you can expect some surprises in the next shift also, as we never expected that many questions will be asked from mechanical properties of solids. That's a very simple chapter, but there were instead many questions asked from mechanical properties of solids also. So you can expect more weightage for optics. So this is not a case where we can leave ray optics, because obviously that's very important. Now modern physics, as you obviously know, it is important. So 31, and then other topics like units and dimension, vector, error, and semiconductor and communication I'll consider in modern physics only. So basically it's going to be 31 plus 11, that is around 42 questions have been asked from modern physics, and units and dimension, vectors and error analysis around 19. So this is also an important case over here. You can see the on an average scale over here. What is the on an average scale? What all questions have been asked over here? So this is basically the analysis based on the units. Okay, so this over here is basically your class 11th. Okay, and this over here basically is your class 12th. Now this again is your 11th class only. This again is your 11th class only. Okay, and this is your 12th class only. Okay, so I suppose this entire analysis is crystal clear to all of you. Now based on the portion division, so as you can see from 11th and 12th, normally it's a trend that around 60% syllabus or questions have been asked from class 12th and around 40% from this. So over here also you can see that around 55% questions have been asked from class 12th, and around 44 or 45% questions have been asked from your class 11. So you can consider this average to be around 50% and this average to be around 45%. So this shows that you just cannot neglect 11th class, and that instead is very important when you compare with class 12th also. Moving ahead, this is an entire analysis. So 53%, as I have told you, has been from class 12th and 47% has been from class 11th. Moving ahead, based on their level, so easy, moderate and difficult, majorly I'll say that the entire shifts on an average were between this level, from easy to moderate level, Some questions definitely were difficult, but the quota of the difficult questions were not that large. Mostly it was easy questions only, that is around 153, and moderate questions were around 80 over here. So as you can see, this is the analysis chart over here based on their level, easy, moderate and difficult. So this is the entire analysis over here. Moving ahead, if you talk about the type of questions, Then you had assertion and reason type around 3. So there were not many assertion reason type. Statement 1 and 2 type there were around 5 questions you can see. There were match the column type questions also around 4 there were. Direct answer questions were many. There were around 45 from among all the shifts, and you can see the average. Now in shift 2 of 27th January, you can see around 13 questions asked directly as direct answer type questions. That means the formula is over here. What is the answers over here? Or basically this values is given. What is the relation between them? So direct formula based. Then calculation based question, you can see there were calculation based questions. So obviously that should be the one. Now multi-topic questions were not many. So I hope this is crystal clear. There were some in which 2 topics were mixed, but that too for a very limited extent. Let's say there was a question based on projectile motion inclusion along with another fluid mechanics concept. So ranging from velocity of flux. So that was very easy, not that extreme that you have concepts, wide ranging topics, multi topics mixing up, and just on the sense of JEE Advanced creates the questions. That sense was not seen in JEE Mains. So I suppose this is crystal clear to all of you, and this over here ends our entire discussion about what were the questions asked in JEE Mains 2024 session 1 for all the shifts. I hope you have liked it, and it will definitely help you for the upcoming sessions and also for the students who are going to prepare for upcoming JEE exams as well. That's going to be all from my side. Thank you and bye-bye.